Crazy shit I did and I seen while I was high on methamphetamine. So I got a lot of new followers here on this account, so I'm going to take it back old school and tell you about the most craziest, outlandish hallucinations that I ever freaking experienced. So I was on a really, really bad methamphetamine bender. And what I would do is I would inject methamphetamine and then I would inject Roxy's at night and try to bring myself down so I could sleep. At the time I was working at Kroger and I was working about 5 days a week. So you can imagine that I was high at my job a lot. Well, this particular Thursday, I had the following Friday and Saturday off. So I decided I was going to go out with a bang and party my motherfucking ass off. So I was over at my friend Gerald's house with his 2 roommates, Darren and Barry. I had came there from Tara's house where I had basically been so high that I was hallucinating that there was a fucking helicopter above us trying to watch us because the federales were after us. And I got spooked and I left her house and I went over to Gerald's. Now, I had been up for maybe 3 or 4 days without sleeping, and when I would do that, I would drink a bunch of Mountain Dew and eat crackers, but I wasn't really well nourished, so my hallucinations were getting out of control. Over at Gerald and Barry's, I spent that evening injecting myself with 3 or 4 Roxy 30s, just trying to knock myself out. And that shit wasn't working, and I went into hallucinations, really scary hallucinations. See, I was sitting in a recliner in the bedroom, and I kept thinking that I was seeing Cy from Duck Dynasty coming out of the vent. He kept poking his little head at me and looking at me, and his little beard was hanging down, but I was scared because I thought that he had my recliner on a catapult, and he was going to cut the rope and send me flying through the top of the trailer. I sat there for over 6 hours. Eventually, I had enough, and I got the fucking guts to get up and go tell Gerald that I needed to sleep. So he gave me a 100 milligram Seroquel. I didn't sleep, and I got up, and I took off walking out the front door at 2 o'clock in the morning. I saw this little lady's porch in the distance, so I ran up on it because I thought there was weed brownies stacked to the ceiling on her porch. And I grabbed what I thought was a broom and started trying to sweep her porch frantically. And I can remember this. I can remember the hallucinations like it was yesterday. She called the cops on me, and the cops came up, and I thought that he was trying to shoot me. So I was bobbing and weaving. He wasn't trying to shoot me. He was trying to help me. He called an ambulance, and then they put me in the ambulance. And the whole ride in the ambulance, I thought they were trying to inject me with cocaine. Crazy shit I didn't seen while I was high on methamphetamine, part 2. So I took off walking out the front door, you guys. And in the distance, it was in a trailer park in Southwest Little Rock. Okay, it was in the hood. I saw a trailer, and on the porch, I thought there was a pile of weed brownies. So I ran over there, and I grabbed what I thought was a broom and started sweeping it frantically. Well, this little lady poked her head out the window, got scared, and called the law on me. The law came, and I just knew that they were trying to shoot me. So I was ducking and weaving. He was ma'am, I'm just trying to help you, right? He called 911. They got an ambulance to come and pick me up. And when I got in the ambulance, you guys, I swear to God, I thought the guy was trying to shoot me up with cocaine. I was scared for my life. I was so scared of every single person because I thought every single person was trying to come after me. And that's what happens when I get on a really sick one and I stay up for too many days and I start to hallucinate. They took me to the ER and they put me in my own separate room. And I remember the lights just being so fucking bright. I was laying on the bed. They were trying to get me to calm down, and a nurse came in and gave me Thorazine and Halidol, a shot of it. Well, honey, this just made the hallucinations even worse. I was seeing my boss from Kroger. I was talking to Miss Frida and Miss Marva, the 2 ladies I worked with at Kroger that we used to fry chicken together. And they were blowing crack smoke underneath the emergency room door. And I was going over there and trying to suck it in. Then when I stood up, I looked all around the room, and there was frogs all over the wall. The green ones, the blue ones, the orange ones, the yellow ones. So I started licking the walls. You know those little frogs that they say they're back, they have the trippy acid stuff on it, and if you touch them or lick them, it can make you trip. I heard that somewhere. I was hallucinating that those frogs were all over the wall. Well, the nurse and the doctor came back in and got me to get back in the bed. That's when they gave me a second round of Thorazine and Haldol. After this point, about probably 10-15 minutes after they gave me that shot, you guys, I went out and everything went black. And I don't remember anything after that. What happened was I went into a coma. My internal organs began to shut down. So they called my mom and dad in Hot Springs and told them that they better get up there quick because they didn't know if I was going to wake back up. 7 days later, I woke up and my mom was sitting beside my bed with my sponsor, Robin. And she was like, "Do you know how long you've been here?" And I was like, "No." And she's like, "You've been in a coma for 7 days." And at that moment, all I wanted to do was go and get high. That's all I wanted to do. Crazy shit I didn't see while high on methamphetamine. Waking up from the coma. So, like I said, I woke up from the coma on day 7, and my mom and my sponsor, Robin, were there. My mom looked at me, you guys, and she was like, "Do you know how long that you've been here?" And I was like, "No." And she's like, "You've been here for 7 days. And she went on to explain to me that when she got there, they hadn't brushed my hair. I had scabs all over me, blood. And so she cleaned me up while I was laying there in the bed. My internal organs had shut down. That's what happened to me. At that moment in time, all I could think about was how I wanted to go get high. And I think this is one of the moments when I really realized like how fucked up I had gotten and how bad my addiction was. But even in that moment, knowing how bad my addiction was, I still left, went and got my car, and got high that night. A couple weeks later, I hit rock bottom and I went to treatment for like the 3rd time.